Well, all the evidence says that the vast majority of people are going to bring reusable bags, and they're not going to pay anything. So the goal is to get people to bring reusable bags, and then no one has to buy them, and whether they're getting given out or sold, that doesn't have to happen. That is the goal. That's what all the evidence from all these places says works. So it is true that I've talked to a lot of store owners who don't like buying lots and lots of plastic and paper bags and then seeing them go to waste and just being expected to give them out for free and then watching them get thrown away and wind up in the trees. And we have businesses who
because many of them do not have the receptacles for them to be returned to the stores.
Well, even if they're, first of all, yes, you're right that a tiny, tiny percentage get returned to the stores. Mm-hmm. But that's true even where they have the receptacles. It's true even where the receptacles are placed in the front of the stores. It's not easy to get people to bring them back. But then I go back.
Many, not to cut you off, Council Member, many of the stores, when you go in, the receptacle is tucked away in the corner where you don't see it.
Even in the places where it's prominent, most people
displayed.
don't. There's plenty. You're right that it is not the state law is not well complied with. So you're right. Your state law is very poorly complied with. But even if they put them in the front, most people will not bring them back. And unfortunately, even if people bring them back, a lot of them are going to wind up in landfills anyway. This kind of goes to the point that I was making before. Right now, the cost of oil is sufficiently low that the cost of making new plastic from petroleum is cheaper in most cases, and certainly here where we have high land costs and high labor costs, than having a plant to recycle the plastic bags. So, but the bigger point is we don't need them. You know, we can bring reusable bags. They fold up real nice. You can get 20 folded up inside of one. If you're going to walk home with 20, you can walk in with one. We did it before. We can do it again. We can, there is a way in which what we're doing is solving a problem together with a nudge. Not everyone likes a nudge, but it will be effective in helping us solve this problem together.
We're all about saving the environment, but I think, is it the intended goal to eliminate the plastic industry in New York City?
Well, first, the plastic industry in New York City is far, far bigger than plastic bags. So there's, we are not banning them. Well, first, some people on the panel have talked about banning them altogether. So if you want to hurt Mr. Amsel, the surest way to do that is ban plastic bags, because then he will not be able to sell a single one. We are having a route that will reduce their use, but it won't totally eliminate them. And there are many other kinds of plastic goods. Plastic is a problem in a big way. You look at those floating islands of plastic waste in the ocean. We have to take some steps to reduce it. I think there are ways that the New York City Economic Development Corporation and others will work with businesses to make the conversion. And obviously for a period of time that people will be giving out or people will be buying reusable bags. So there's some money to be made there, although once people have them, they can use them for a very long time. Our goal is to deal with those 91,000 tons of plastic solid waste every single year, those 7,000 trucks going through the communities of Brooklyn and Queens and the South Bronx, and to get them out of our trees and beaches and storm drains. That's our goal. In order to do that, we have to have less of them. And this has proven in city after city to be the smartest and most effective way to do it.
Thank you, Council Member. Senator Golden?
Thank you very much, Council Member. Thank you for being here today. I'm limited in time, so you are blessed.
I'll make more time for it if you want later. So.
But you trust me, we'll change it if it doesn't work or it doesn't seem to be working? That's what you're going to tell 8.5 million people? Trust me, I'll change it?
Well, for what I told you is if we don't...
the tax? Is that what you're going to do?
If we don't change it, first it's going to work. I genuinely believe it's going to work. All the evidence from so many places around the country and the world says it will. If it doesn't, yes, the council hears from our constituents a lot, and members will demand change.
But if we don't, I'm trying to get to
then come back and change it. Okay,
I don't believe that's true. All right? Instead of investing your time and your energy into trying to recycle, trying to, as my colleague here in the Senate has said, set up recyclable opportunities for the people in our communities. You guys actually believe that you're the saviors of the closing of these supermarkets, that this 5 cents somehow is going to save these supermarkets and keep them open to some degree. Did you say
No,
that?
I don't think. I mean, the supermarket business is a tough business. Part of the reason why not to ban plastic and require them to give out free paper is that really would on many small grocery stores be tens of thousands of dollars. So I don't think that's a good idea at a time when our supermarkets and grocery stores are having a hard time. But no, the goal of this bill is to have people bring reusable bags, not to help our supermarkets.
It had easier to turn around to have them recycled and find and spend all of this time and energy and actually put some city money behind having the recycling program putting into effect on these.
I mean, I tried to
actually ask people to bring them, spend money. I know you're trying to explain it. You probably explained it for 2.5 years now, I guess. And
we studied it. It just won't work. Show me
what.
Do you have one place in the country where it's worked?
How many of your members voted against it?
20.
20 out of 50. How many you got there?
51.
51. So it's not a majority. It's a majority, but a slight majority, right? It's not usually lockstep in that city council. How'd you get 20
democracy
of your
in America, last time
no?
I looked, is what you need is a majority. It wasn't a majority of one. It's a majority. So I'm confident the other 20 will start bringing reusable bags.
Many of your colleagues voted against it for a reason. Have you seen the price of oil?
I pay some attention. I didn't look
it's doubled since you're never going to see $28 a barrel again. So you should be following your portfolios. Oil is back up again, and it's going to continue to rise. So that's an issue, right? Because we bet the plastic bags in America are made from natural gas, and the bags coming in from foreign countries are coming in with foreign oil. Your reusable bags.
The reusable bags are made from a lot of different things. Plenty of them are made domestically. Some of them are from cotton. Some of them are from polyester. There's some experts coming after me that know a lot more about this than I do. The studies that I've seen show that if you use life cycle analysis, you have to use your reusable bag somewhere between 5 and 10 times before it becomes far superior to a single-use plastic bag. And I don't know about others. I use mine hundreds of times. So they're clearly economically superior. Environmentally superior.
I am so glad that you use that hundreds of times. But you
only have to use a 10, though, to have it be better.
I know you went after the industry because the industry had, they invested so much money. Maybe because they have a number of jobs here in the state here and a number of jobs across the country. But
most Novalex jobs are not here in New York State.
We have them right here in the boroughs. If you should look that up.
There are a few distributors here in the boroughs.
You should take a look at it. Did they guess this body? They found this body in San Francisco. They planted that body there. Did they put that body there that died of the reusable bag because of the contamination within the reusable bag? And it was by the, what do you call it, the coroner?
So, Senator, I will point you to the Consumer Reports study that says that all of the
They're all
evidence...
They're all going to wash their bags when they take them home, and nobody's going to get sick because of the chicken and the chopped meat and the vegetables that are in the bag.
Those things were mostly in the still free plastic roll bags, but all I can say is Consumer Reports has looked at this question and concluded that the claim that disease or death has been linked to reusable bags is not true.
Oh, I know it's not true. It's like, trust me.
I know it's not true. I'm asking you. Show me a study that's not funded by the plastics industry.
I'm not sure your studies aren't funded by some other purpose either. The problem I see here... They were
mostly studied by the cities who implemented the laws.
Well, no, it's a tax is a tax is a tax. That's what this is, and it's a run around the state legislature. And that's why you did it the way you did do it, is by implementing allowing the money to stay within the retailer instead of having some of that money come back to the city or to the state.
As I explained, state of California, which absolutely has the power to tax, chose not to.
Do that here in the state of New York. California might want to do that, but here
no, they don't. They chose not to take the money. Yep. We don't want the money. The goal here is to get people to bring reusable bags, not to collect anything.
I happen to think that the industry itself is operating at its interest like other industries.
Of course they are.
Okay?
Of course they are.
And I believe that this impacts our seniors, it impacts our kids, it impacts our families, it impacts communities of color, it impacts our communities large. I mean, if you really think that $12.5 million is the cost to take this to the landfills, and now we're putting tens of millions of dollars into retailers' pockets, and then we're going to go after them for regulation. I mean, this makes no sense. Instead of taking good sense and trying to find a recyclable process by allowing people to come and recycle it instead of hitting them with a 5-cent tax on every bag. It is absolutely insane.
So, Senator, I'll make you the same offer I made some of my colleagues in the council. I'd be delighted.
We don't want office.
I'd be delighted 6 months after this law goes into effect to come out with you to a supermarket or grocery store, a small retailer in your neighborhood, and we'll stand and we'll look at the checkout, to see what people are doing.
By the way, you said you were in all these neighborhoods. I didn't see you in my neighborhoods of Bay Ridge and Dyke.
Well, I didn't do them all myself. Our colleagues were involved in doing the bag giveaways.
But
I'd love to stand at the checkout counter with you and see whether or not the majority of people start bringing reusable bags.
Does recycling work?
I'm so confident that they will.
Yes, it does.
It is not economically feasible to recycle.
Why is it not economically feasible?
Because even at the price it's at, for a few reasons. Because it is expensive to do the work of washing. They're dirty after use. Some of them are relatively clean if they get brought back to the store, but a lot of them that wind up at Sims, they have to be washed.
You made the decision not to make recyclables. You made the decision to take the easy way out.
I don't know if you listened to me. I spent a lot of time studying I spent a lot of time studying the question of whether they could be economically recycled, and it's clear to me they can't be economically recycled.
I got to tell you, the other thing I'm looking at here is the low rates of recycling here, and not only because we don't want to invest it and we don't want to actually give it an opportunity, but that they are 100% recyclable. That's what kills me, that you're going to take a plastic bag today and impact every homeowner in this great city by charging them 5 cents each.
No, impact them by making them bring reusable bags instead. That is how they're going to be impacted. They will be impacted. Our seniors, our low-income communities, our families will feel the impact by switching to reusable bags and bringing them to the grocery store.
They want to see their trains run on time. They want to see their kids get a good education. They want to see safe cities. They want to see things happen here in the city. They're not worried about your 5-cent nickel a bag that's going to cost them an impact on their community and on their output each year for spending. You're going to impact the retailer. You're going to impact the actual family, and that's not good. And I have a large constituents of seniors. You are going to impact those seniors.
I know a lot of seniors as well, Senator. I will tell you this. The seniors that I know will be the most likely to start bringing reusable bags. They don't want to pay that nickel. They are very good at doing what's smart, which will in this case be bringing reusable bags when they go shopping.
Brad, I don't know what Kool-Aid you're drinking, but keep drinking it because it's not going to work. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen in this room, those for and against, this body here working with Simcha Felder and his counterpart in his Senator Prasad, we will do everything we can to make sure that this bill does not become reality in the state of New York. We will do everything in our possible legislative prerogative to make sure that this bill is stopped, because it is a bad bill. That we should be more worried about transportation, education, public safety. Here we are, planes getting shot out of the sky, and we're talking about plastic bags and impacting the people in the community of this great city. It's just plain wrong.
Thank you, Senator.
It's just plain wrong.
Excuse me.
Control. We're going to be asked to be removed if you do it again.
Thank you, Senator. Assemblymember Hyken.
First, it's always good to see you. It really is. I have great respect for you. We differ on a number of things, but I really have great respect for you, and I have no doubt that you believe in this with all your heart and soul. But I didn't realize until the last couple of weeks, and I don't know about my colleagues, I don't know, your neighborhoods where you live, everywhere you go, trees, drains, that all you see is plastic bags. I didn't realize that. It's like news to me. I'm sure people, there are places that are well kept in terms of sanitation, places that are not well kept. You see, people who don't respect their communities or their blocks. You see things on the floor, but I didn't know, Brad, until just the last few days that. And when I leave this place here in Manhattan, I come to Brooklyn, and all I'm going to do is look at the streets and see all those plastic bags, because I have not noticed that this is the issue of the generation of this period, that this is so critical. The environment is an extremely important issue, but there are so many things. I mentioned it before to the commission. I don't think you were here, but I don't think this makes the top 20 or top 50 issues. If you were to go out and give people an opportunity to put down anything they can think about, I don't think this would make the top 50 even, in terms of we got to do this thing with regard to 5-cent tax, so we reduce the number of plastic bags. So So number one, just a few things I want to ask you. Number one, is this a big problem in your district that people let me do all of this, that in your district that you represent, which is part of Borough Park, by the way, that everywhere you go, this is a real problem, in the streets and trees. You walk around the trees. We got more trees than ever. I mean, there's so many trees. That's another thing. If you don't want a tree, you get a tree in front of your house. It's like nobody gives a damn about anybody. People in my community, I love trees, by the way. I love trees. But if someone says, I don't want a tree, the city knows better. I spoke to the commissioner just a week ago, in fact, because we try to stop them from forcing people to have trees, okay, which accumulate garbage, and people have to, people get violations. So number one, I didn't know this big problem with all these plastic bags. Number two, you and I both know, all the elected officials, that we face so many problems with people getting sanitation tickets, all kinds of tickets. And it's so difficult to fight them. $100 like this, in a moment. There's a piece of garbage in front of your house, you get a violation. And people in this city who are having a difficult time surviving, many, many people, faced with all these violations, the consumer tickets at commercial establishments, and now what we're going to do is a $250 ticket for your first violation and $500. So some store owner, some senior citizen who forgot to bring their bag, and 5 cents is very critical to them, Brad. 5 cents makes it, people will not kill for 5 cents, but will get very irritated, especially senior citizens. Every single penny is so critical to them. And the store owner says, I have brachmanis, that means pity. I'm gonna give the person a bag. And someone happens to be watching or looking, all the police, everybody's searching. And by the way, the fines do go to the city, correct? The fines do go to the city, the $250, the $500. Boys are going to be a way to accumulate a lot of money. Maybe the 5 cents goes to the store owner, but let me tell you, a lot of people will face these violations not because they don't want to follow the law, but because, the little old lady just came in, she needed one or two things, and now you're charging her. You ever see people look at when they get their receipt, they look at every little thing, to make sure, because every penny, Brad, means so much to them, so 5 cents. And by the way, in our community, Borough Park in particular, people have large families. When I go shopping, I might have 13, 14 bags or more than that. It gets very, very complicated, so I'm very concerned about that as well. And it's real, and you and I know it. And by the way, there's nothing you can say about that will make us feel better, because we know how the city works. You're going to get the violation, another thing, another layer of violation. And number three, you spoke, really, you such enthusiasm. I love it, even if I disagree. I love the enthusiasm. Everybody agrees, this group and that group and the other group, the enthusiasm of, you said every community and every race and every religion and everybody. And, in this article in Hamodia, about, hey, what's the big deal, 5 cents? People go to synagogue, they got to carry something with them. I don't know how that's relevant. The fact that I have keys, you're carrying your keys, what's the big deal, 5 cents? That's what you said in the article. So what I'm asking you is the following. Everybody's so enthusiastic, the environment. Did you ever think, Brad, as one of the key people who cares so deeply, and I know you trust the people of the city, I assume you trust the people to make a decision like this. Why didn't you go to the people on something like this? Why didn't you do a referendum or something like that, where everybody in my community, every community, all over the city of New York, let the people have a campaign? Because look, it's the environment, such enthusiasm you have from all these different groups. Why not go to the people on something like this? Because, Brad, you said yourself that thousands of people have people have complained to you. And we spoke earlier, Senator Felder, the emails that I got on this issue and the calls to my office from all over the city, this is something that really touches people. Should it touch people? Is it that critical? Is it really going to make a difference? Let me tell you, I'm going to pay the 5 cents, and I'm going to do with the plastic bags the same thing I do right now. me personally. But why not go to the people on something that is so emotional, that people care so much about on both sides, and let the people make that decision?
Thank you, Assemblyman, and I just want to say I share your, a high regard and warm friendship with you, despite our issue disagreements, and I appreciate your passion on this issue as well. And so I'll say a few things. First of all, on the trees, we did, as you know, in Board 12, make it so that we send people letters before the trees get planted, and in several cases, we've gotten the owners to say we don't want them, and the trees that we were going to pay for through participatory budgeting did not get planted in the homes of people who asked not for them to be planted.
I spoke to the commissioner last week. They decide who gets a tree, whether you like it or not, and they will plant it in front of your house, period.
With the ones that, anyway.
That's what's going on. I mean, the commissioner last week in a conversation, I said, why do you have to force people to have trees in front of their house? Because he knows better.
Well, all I'm saying is
by the way.
The ones that we
issue.
planted
It's
through
all about the
participatory
environment.
budgeting, we did ask people first. So, and I will say,
would you check into that?
I'll talk to the
commissioner. Would you deal with that? Okay,
I'll
great.
talk to the commissioner. In terms of, look, plastic bags have this unique aerodynamic shape that make them get caught in trees more than anything other than kites. So yes, if you spend your time in a park and you look up, go to baggatnyc.org.
Join me on Ocean Parkway tomorrow. Join me.
Right.
Let's walk 15, 20 blocks. Let's see how many plastic bags we find. I guarantee we won't find one.
Oh, all right. Let's just go.
Okay,
I'll
let's
take
do
you
it
up.
tomorrow.
All right. On the fines. First, let's point out for the first 6 months, there's no fines at all. And unlike some others that keep escalating, this one, first offense $250, and all offenses thereafter $500. We are not putting any additional resources to enforcement. So, if a store one time lets that person not do it, the odds that there's going to be, the police are not enforcing this. The organizations, it's DCA and sanitation. In all the other cities where they've done this, compliance is pretty good because the policy works, because people start bringing reusable bags, and they don't find a significant need. So I don't imagine we're not putting new resources in enforcement, and I don't believe that there will be. I believe that compliance will be. Again, this is based on the data from other places all around the country, that compliance will be pretty good, the vast majority of it without fines. Now, we don't have a referendum process. That's not something that the council does. We did, as an extensive campaign, a dialogue, a conversation. More people came and testified in favor at our hearing than against. We went out to many communities. We had a whole dialogue with people. There are people that don't support it, but I think most people do. And what I will point to is in Washington, D.C., when they did their survey, they asked people, after it was in place, how do you feel about it? Only 20% of people said, I have a problem with it. 80% said, I support it, or I don't have a problem with it. We're going to ask that same question in the survey that we do as part of this law here. I understand, look, the policy works in part because people don't want to pay the nickel. That's a big part of why the policy works. It's a big part of why we become able to bring reusable bags. So at the front end, you think, I don't want to pay the nickel. Once you get in the habit of bringing reusable bags, you realize it's really not that hard. And that's why your keys are relevant or your bag is relevant. It's that we do all kinds of things which are comparable to or harder than bringing reusable bags when we go shopping. And large families also, if you're going to walk home with 10 bags, you're probably coming with a cart. You're certainly coming with your money or your credit card. You can come with 10 reusable bags folded up inside one. They're easy to carry, and all the evidence says that's what people will start doing. There will be an impact. The impact is just that people will start bringing reusable bags, and part of this is because every penny is so critical for seniors. And we all don't like the idea of paying for something that used to be free. But the answer isn't that we're going to pay. The answer is we're going to bring reusable bags, and that's how we get out of the solid waste problem that we have, in a way that, again, it just in city after city and country after country. I'm optimistic it's going to work in Israel, the 10 agorot they're charging, and in Minneapolis where they just adopted it, and in all the places they've had it for years, and that it's going to work here as well.
Thank you. Senator Savina?
Thank you, Senator Prasad. Thank you for your testimony, Councilman. And from the beginning, I totally understand your commitment to this issue. And let's just say we both agree that we need to do something about this. we disagree on how we get there. And as someone who, it should be said often and loudly, as a person who represents Staten Island, we are particularly sensitive to bad environmental policy. We were the recipient of 50 years of the worst environmental disaster imposed on the people of the city of New York by the people of the city of New York. The Fresh Kills landfill, even though it's been closed for the better part of 15 years now, will have a long-lasting legacy on the health and welfare of Staten Islanders. We are still affected by it and will continue to be for a very long time. So we know the effects of bad environmental policy. So, but you made the point in your testimony that, one of the concerns you had about, people, if you do things a certain way, people will just go to other stores. Well, that's one of the things we worry about in Staten Island, because if you have this inconsistent policy, here's what Staten Islanders do. They go to New Jersey. And they're going to and they're going to do their shopping there, which is what happened when we saw the implementation of the bigger, better bottle bill. They just went to Jersey. And all of the people who insisted that the bottles that were purchased in New Jersey would somehow be rejected by the machines in Staten Island and the redemption, they insisted there's no way those bottles would be accepted. We're wrong. And so our distributors, who are responsible for the bottles in Staten Island, one of them, in fact, went out of business because he had to make good on the 5 cents. So you see, we worry about that. People in Southeast Queens, they're going to go to Nassau County if they think they have to pay 5 cents a bag. People in the Bronx will go to Westchester. So we are concerned about inconsistent policy. Why didn't you come to Albany and sit down and talk to us so that we could help develop a more comprehensive, approach to this? Because we're all on the same side. We're not, for litter any more than you are for bad tax policy. Why not sit down with us and try and figure out a way to really change people's behavior in a way that will lead us to really where we want to go, which is making people use less plastic and in a graduated step.
Well, look, we are a city. We make a lot of decisions for New York City. Cities around the country have done this on their own. DC, LA, Santa Cruz, Austin, Minneapolis, cities are doing it. Now, it is, New Jersey, as you may know, its bipartisan bill is moving, so I think there's going to be a charge in New Jersey as well, so I don't think it'll make sense for Staten Islanders to go there to escape the fee. Well, ours is like the bottle bill in the sense that if you just bring reusable bags, you don't have to pay. So Staten Islanders who are shopping in a car, it's hard for me to believe that they wouldn't just put their reusable bags in the trunk and have them there every time that they need them. That's a lot easier than driving across to New Jersey. Look, New Jersey's looking at this. Suffolk has a policy. A lot of Westchester municipalities are developing a policy. We think we have the best one. We think it'll work. Would I love to see you guys adopt statewide the policy that New York City is adopting? I think that would be great. But I'm confident it will work here. And again, I'm not aware of any place where people have seen shopping decline in the edges of the municipalities where they've adopted it, because it's so easy to bring a reuse. That's the thing. What's harder? Bringing a reusable bag or going outside of your neighborhood to go grocery shopping? Bringing a reusable bag is a lot easier. And I just also say, I think the Fresh Kills, the plastic bags at Fresh Kills will never decompose.
No, we know.
Never. This is not a project that has a long decomposition life. It's a product that never decomposes.
But Councilman, not to interrupt you, but the issue of Staten Islanders, and this is why it might have been probably a good idea for you to come to Staten Island and talk about it.
We did giveaways on Staten Island.
All three council members on Staten Island voted no. North Shore, South Shore, West Shore, East Shore, every one of them voted no. Because again, we know our constituents, and we know that not only did they go to New Jersey will they go to New Jersey for this reason? They go to New Jersey for other reasons, because they don't have the 5-cent deposit on bottles. Cigarettes are cheaper there. Liquor is cheaper there. Gas is cheaper there. There's a whole host of reasons why they will go to New Jersey. So they will. So your assumption that they won't travel there is just wrong. They will.
If they're already going, I don't think this will bring them back.
So we're not going to change their behavior on this. But my question is, so let's just take Staten Islanders out of this. The other 4 boroughs of the city of New York. Why not use the model, as Senator Golden talked about? Why not explore recycling, mandatory recycling? Let me finish the point. Why not allow people to redeem the 5 cents that they pay on the bags? Let them bring them back. That would be a better usage. You pay the 5 cents and then bring them back.
Well,
that will really change people's behavior.
If you bring them back and just use them again, you don't have to pay the new 5 cents, so it's the same thing.
Who wants to use dirty bags with their new groceries? Right, bring them back the way you bring back your bottles, and or put them into the blue bins.
So keep having 9 billion. Well, a few reasons. Are you going to make it a law that people have to bring it back, and you're going to fine individual customers or arrest them if they don't bring them back? So what does mandatory recycling mean?
So
what
again,
if I don't bring it back? What are you going to do to me?
You've already charged them with the 5 cents. So again, let's go back to probably the only successful recycling program that the state has in place, and that's the bottle bill. So you start out, you go into a store, and every bottle that's covered has a 5 cent deposit on it. And everybody pays that 5 cents. You buy 6 bottles, you pay 5 times 6.
So we're going to charge them, but give them their money back.
If they bring it back, that's what you do now.
Now they're for free. Now with bottle, but you're going to say charge for plastic bags.
And then, if you want people to change their behavior and engage in the recycling process, which is what this bill was about,
that bottle can be recycled a lot better than the plastic bags can be recycled. There are folks who do it today here in the region who recycle plastic bottles. There's no one on the eastern seaboard that recycles plastic bags.
But are you saying there's no one that recycles plastic bags? Period?
The only place I'm familiar with right now is in Wisconsin, and they're all full up. Okay. And we asked them, will you open a plant anywhere around here? And they said no.
Well, if we were, perhaps on the state level, to engage a discussion with them, so perhaps if we were looking at a broader
if we give them millions of dollars, I'm sure they'll do it.
Maybe.
But that's not a good use of our tax dollars when we can just bring reusable bags and then we don't have all this waste.
We believe that this irritating policy that you're proposing is not going to achieve the stated goal, that people will continue to use the plastic bags. They will wind up having to pay the excess fee out of their pocket.
You think there's something different about New York than all the places where people have started?
They're going to likely forget to bring the bags with them. As I said earlier, you may not have been here when we started this discussion earlier today. I have bunch of them. I bought them from various stores, from Stop and Shop and ShopRite, and I forget them half the time.
And that's why this policy works. It's stunning how well it works. I'll give you another example.
Half the time, I don't know when I'm going shopping. I may, on the way home from something, say, you know what, let me run into the store and pick up a few items.
Well, for those trips where you pick up a few items, I urge people to get the small bag, and you put it in your purse or your briefcase. You can always keep it there. So for a short and small trip, you've always got one with you. Usually I'm carrying one, but I don't have my bag with me up here.
I'm glad for you, because you're thinking about this all the time.
Because I won't want to pay the nickel.
No, but most people don't think about these
Actually,
things
the evidence
every day,
says that once
time.
you charge the nickel, most people don't want to pay it, so they start bringing reusable bags. That's just what the evidence says from all the cities they've done it. And I just think New York isn't that different from Washington, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Minneapolis, Austin, Israel, South Africa, England.
So we'll disagree on the shopping patterns of New Yorkers. You and I totally don't agree on that. But let me ask you one final question, because I know others want to ask you a question. In all of those cities, do all the stores everywhere get to keep the money?
Most of them.
Most of them.
Most of them, not all of them. You're right that in D.C., as I mentioned, 1.5 cents stays with the retailer, 3.5 cents goes to the city. But in all of the California places, in the new Minneapolis policy, in Austin, in the vast majority of places, the fee does not come to the city or state. It stays with the retailer.
And in New Jersey, what they're proposing now is similar to what the bottle bill does, which is, again, it's to get people to change their behavior by forcing them to pay a little bit and then perhaps engaging in the recycling program.
Making them, if they can remember to bring back the wasteful plastic bags, can't they remember to bring the reusable bags?
They get something back. It's kind of the carrot of the stick.
They avoid paying. It turns out we hate paying for things that used to be free.
And they like getting back, right?
Actually, no. So this is a good example. There are some stores that give a discount if you bring a reusable bag, which should be economically equivalent. But in those cases, a very relatively low percentage of people start bringing reusable bags. Where you put a fee in place, the vast majority of people start bringing them. There is something about our desire not to pay for something that used to be free that is an extraordinarily good motivator. All the data says, and it's quite stunning that it's so, I mean, the DC data on this, and there's Buenos Aires data too, they asked, is it different by race? Is it different by income? Is it different by age? Is it different by whether people care about the environment or don't care about the environment? That's my favorite in Buenos Aires. They tried to see, do people who think of themselves as environmentally friendly more likely to bring reusable bags? And the answer was no. Everyone wants to avoid this fee, and so the vast majority of people across all those lines of difference start to be able to remember. It is surprising, but the data all says it's true.
We are going to continue to disagree on that. I think people are going to do what they do. They're going to shop where they shop. They're going to avoid using these bags. They're going to shop in stores that don't require them to pay it, if they can. And I think that we are a long way from agreeing to support this policy. This discussion is certainly going to continue in Albany as we try and settle on a policy that makes sense for all of us. And I encourage you to come to Albany and sit down with us and our other colleagues to kind of flesh out the rest of this. We all want to get to the same place. We don't want to see plastic bags, littering our streets. And certainly, and I will leave this on this final note, we have limited sanitation services in the city of New York as it is. As you guys consider your budget, you're going to be hiring more people, from what I understand. Walk the streets of our community. We've launched an anti-litter campaign in Staten Island. Our streets are filthy with litter. Sanitation is not out there picking up the garbage on the streets. We need them to do that, let alone standing by counting plastic bags in stores. So let's work on that together.
So here's the one thing I would say. I would be delighted to come up to Albany and think about future policy. But here's what I would say. I think one very useful thing before we do that would be to give this one some months of seeing how it works. Because we don't really know. You're right. I believe that the evidence from all these other cities says it will work. You guys believe it won't. The only real way to know is to give it a try. So let our bill go into effect on October 1st. Let's give it some months.
Nothing ever gets undone.
We can come up to, but you guys could do it now, you could do it then. We'll come up to Albany, and I'd be glad to meet with the other cities and counties around the state that are thinking about doing something. But I think we'd be a lot better in having that conversation once we had the evidence of how this policy was working
Brad,
or not
with all
working.
due
And if
respect,
it's not, you'll still have the power to overrule us.
But with all due respect, if this goes forward in the way it's been drafted and it's implemented, and you have a regulatory structure set up in New York City, and you have staff hired to implement it, and you have an education plan, you cannot peel it back. You know that.